Hello guys, my name is Maxwell from Max Multimedia. Today I'm going to take you through a step-by-step guide on how to design this simple makeup flyer in Photoshop. And now, let's roll. Now here in Photoshop, the first thing we want to do is to navigate to create new here, and then we want to come to the unit section here, click on this box, then change the unit to inches, and then come to this side here, then change the size to 5, and then the height also here to 5 inches, and then the resolution, yeah, you can go with 300, but I'll be going with 200, and then I'll just click on create. Now the next thing I'm going to do, before then, these are the images and the typeface, and this is also the text. These are the tests I'll be using for the tutorial. And then before I continue, let me use this opportunity to say shout out to my boss, my teacher, my mentor from a distance, Innocent K. Boateng. He's a very nice person, and he has great tutorials on Photoshop designs and other text video. I've been following him from day one of my journey as a graphic designer. A link is in the description to check on Innocent, and trust me, it's going to be of a great blessing to you as a graphic designer who uses Photoshop. Alright, okay, so let's dive right into the business of the day. We want to navigate to our adjustment layer here, click on gradient here, and then click on the gradient bar here. Now I already select this gradient here, but then you can also use it. These are the hex code. This is the deeper pink here. This is the head code of the deeper pink, and then if you come to the lighter side, this is also the color code here, so you can follow along with these color codes. Now the next thing I'm going to do after this is to head over to my folder here, and then the first image I'm going to drag is this lady, so I'm dragging her to Photoshop like that. Then I'm going to resize the picture like this, and this should be fine like that. So enter my keyboard. Now the next thing I'm going to do is, as you can see, the one who edited this picture wrote his name here, so we are just going to remove that name. So right click on the image, rasterize it, and then navigate to your spot heal to your spot healing tool here, and then just please, you have to rasterize the picture first, if not it won't work. Then after that, that is it. Now the next thing I want to do is I want to blend the downside of the picture so it can blend with the background. So we want to create a mask, so you just come to your mask layer and then click on it to have this mask here. Now navigate to your brush tool here. Now make sure that the foreground color of your brush is black. Okay, don't forget, black hides, white reveals, so that is it. So just with your brush selected, just brush the downside of the picture like that, and that should be fine. Now the next thing I'm going to do is to go back to my folder, and then I'm going to drag this facial treatment picture also as well to Photoshop. I'm going to resize it like this, and then the next thing I'm going to do is enter on the keyboard. So I want to fade the sharp edges of this picture as well, so I'm going to go to my layer mask here, add the mask to it, and then select my brush tool again, and then let me reduce the size a bit. So just going to fade it like that, and that should be fine. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm coming to my opacity here, reduce the opacity to somewhere like 15 or 14 thereabouts, and that should be fine. Now I'm just going to drag it here, and that should be fine. So I'm going back to my folder again, then I'm going to drag this nail picture also. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to add a layer mask to it, so enter first, then click on the layer mask to add it, okay, like that. And then you want to right click it, the picture layer, just right click on the picture layer, then come to create a clipping mask. Okay, then it will clip it inside this particular white one. Okay, so now you can Control T on the keyboard to adjust the picture. Okay, and then that should be fine. So once you are done, just close the group like this, and then come to the second one, open it, and then do the same thing. Select the top layer, which is the white one, select it before you go to get your picture. So I'm going to get this picture here, Then the same thing, I'm going to just leave it here and then resize it like that. And then I'm going to right click the picture layer like this and then create a clipping mask, and that should be fine. So Ctrl T, Ctrl T like this to transform the picture like that, and that should be fine. Right, so you close and then you do the same thing to this one. Okay, so I'm going to fast forward this part of the video for the sake of time. Okay, alright, so that is how it is done. Now I'm going to close this. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select 1 2 3, this 1 2 3. I'm going to group all of them together again. So with this one selected, hold down Shift key and then click on the third one, then Ctrl G on the keyboard, then you can group the three together. So I'm going to name it ellipse again. So if I off this layer, you see that everything is off. Alright, so have a habit of naming your work, so it will be very easy for you if you want to work on it the next time. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going back to my folder here. Now I've got this makeup tools here. Okay, so you can use any of the tool you like. So I'll be going with this one, so I'll drag it to Photoshop like this, and then I'm going to leave it here. So I will just resize it like this, and then just like this, and leave it here, and that should be fine. Now the next thing I'm going to do is to go for my text tool here. Then I'll click here like this. I'm going to change the typeface to Chicago Police. Font is in the description, Chicago Police. Okay, Chicago Police. And then I'm going to open my text here. I'm going to copy the name here, and then Ctrl C to copy, and then Ctrl V to paste it here. So I'm going to highlight all like this. I'm going to change the color to let me sample this place here as the color of my font, and then I'm going to open my toggle here. Okay, toggle here, and then I want to increase the size of the text a bit like this. Let me just do it 35 should be fine. And then yeah, alright, so the next thing I'm going to do to this text, okay, let me close the gap between it a bit. So just alright, that should be fine. Then the next thing I'm going to do is, because it is the color of the font is almost like the background, so we can't see, so I'm going to right click it, go to the blending options, and then I'm going to give it stroke and outer glow. So you come to this place, you see the stroke, you just select it. I've already selected white color. So if your color is not white, just double click the stroke layer here, and then you see color here. If you click on the color, then if you want to give it a gradient, you can click here, then you change the fill type to gradient. Okay, and then I'm just going to give it again an outer glow. So here an outer glow, I just selected it. I already set my outer glow, but then let me open property. I use this gradient, golden gradient. Okay, you can download it. This one is also in the description. Just download it. I use this for you can go with color. Okay, if you come to this place, you see that this one here is color. This is just a color. Okay, you can go with a color, but then I choose to go with gradient. So if you select the gradients, if you click on this gradient, and then here is the one I use, this golden gradient here. Okay, and then I set the spread to 0, the size to 13, and then the contour I use the third one here. This particular one is the one I use for the contour, and then the range is 50%, and that is all. And then the next thing I want to do is to just position it properly here, and then I'm going to go for my text tool again, click here, reduce the size of the let me say 16 there about, yeah, or even 14 should be fine. Now I'm going to copy makeup, special makeup, Ctrl+C to copy, you know the whole process, and then Ctrl+V to paste it here. And I'm going to highlight all like this and then change the color to white so we can see it, and that should be fine. Now the next thing I want to do again is to give this a shadow. Okay, give this a shadow. So I'm going to right click the makeup layer here and then come to blending options, and then I'm going to come for this drop shadow here. So as you can see, it has given this thing a shadow. But if you don't like the shadow, you can just come to you can double click the drop shadow layer here, and then it will open the property bar for you. So I just give my own distance is 2, spread is 6, and then size is 8, and then that is it. You can if you want to go with my settings, fine, you can go with it, and then that should be fine. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to group these two names, and so you know the whole process of grouping, right? So with this one selected, I'm coming to hold down Shift and then select the second one like this, so it will select the two for me, and then Ctrl+G on my keyboard to group them. Sorry. So I'm going to name this one top test, or let me make it top name. Alright, so if I off it, you see that this thing is off. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a rounded rectangle here for services. Okay, so I'll go for my ellipse tool here and then select the rounded rectangle. The radius here, I just leave it here at 100. If you want it to be more rounded, you can do it 200. If you want, you can do it 50, depending on what you want. Okay, so I'm just going to do something like this. Okay, this should be fine, and then I'm going to make sure I give it white color here. If you can't find your property bar, just click here, double click the thumbnail here like this, and then it will open the color box for you. Then you can select your color. Then the next thing I want to do is I want to go for my text tool here again, click here, and then this time around I'm not going to use Chicago Police, so I'm going to change the font to Raleigh. Okay, so Raleigh semi-bold. Okay, so the font is also in description, get it, Raleigh semi-bold. So now I'm going to copy our services, Ctrl+C to copy, and then I'm going to paste it here, Ctrl+V to paste it. I'm thinking of using the Chicago Police for this one, but then alright, it's not bad, we can use this one like that, or if you like you can change the font again to Chicago. Let me change it to Chicago Police and see. Alright, it's not bad. Okay, so I'll be using the Chicago Police again, and then I'm going to change the color of this font. So select all the fonts like this, and then come to this section. You can choose. I'm going to put sample with this. Let me just make it a bit darker, and this should be fine. Alright, so that is it, our services. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to write the services itself. Okay, so before then I want to just create some some bulletin here. So I'm going for this my rectangular tool, and then you come to custom shape tool here. So if you click on custom shape tool here, it will open the, if you come to this side, it will open this shape box for you. You might not see this flower. Okay, I recently used it, that's why it's here. So if you can't see it, just click here, and then you see this folder named flowers. So open this flowers folder like that, then scroll down. So this is the flowers here. Okay, this is the one I use. So select it, and then just come and draw a little flowers here like that. Just draw it something small here like that, and then that should be fine. So you can double click on the thumbnail here and then change the color to white, and that should be fine. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I want to make a copy of this. I want to copy it 3 more. Okay, so I'm just going to Ctrl+J to copy it, and then I'm going to just drag it down like this, and then another Ctrl+J to copy, then I'm going to drag it down and another Ctrl J to make another copy, and then I'm going to just drag it down like this, and this should be fine. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do now is to let me space between them a bit. So I'm going to drop this. Alright, I think this should be fine. Alright, so I'm going to select my text tool here, then I'm going to now change the typeface to Ralliway. Okay, Ralliway. So I'm going to use Ralliway semi-bold. Okay, so I'm going to start copying mine. So the first thing is makeup, bridal makeup here. So Ctrl C to copy, then I come here, Ctrl V to paste, and I'm going to change. I'm going to select all, then change the color to white, and then OK. And then I'm just going to position it properly here. Now you might want to resize your own, so Ctrl T, then you can resize it like that a bit, and that should be fine. Okay, now the next thing I'm going to do is I want to make a copy of this bridal makeup. Okay, so Ctrl J to copy, and then you drag it down here, and then you can double click the text like this to have it selected. That is if you're using 2020 version of Photoshop. Okay, then you go back to your text here, and then you select the second service, which is graduation makeup, and Ctrl V to paste. Alright, so that is it, graduation makeup. Then I have it like that. So I'm going to make a copy of this, Ctrl J again. So you now know the whole process. Okay, so I'll be fast forwarding this part of the video for the sake of time. We do not want to I don't want this tutorial to be a long one. Okay, so I'll catch you up when I'm done.
New territory.
Are you ready to take new cities? Take new cities.
Take new cities.
New countries.
New countries.
New nations.
Take new nations.
Okay, so that is it. So these are the services. Now the next thing I'll be doing is I'm going to group all the services together, so you know the whole process already. So with this one selected, I'll come all the way down to the first rounded rectangle here, which is this, and then hold down Shift key, click on this, and then Ctrl G on the keyboard. So I'm going to name this one services. Okay, so that should be fine. Now the next, if I off this, you see that all the services is gone. So if I want to make any adjustment, I just have to come here, open this, and then do my adjustment. Now the next thing I'm going to do is to again come for my shape tool here, select my rounded rectangle tool here, and then I want to create another rounded rectangle here, something like this. It should be fine. I'm going to change the color to white as well, and then that should be fine. I'm going to position it properly here, somewhere just here like this should be fine. Okay, then I'm going to go for my text tool again. Then I'm going to, this time I'm going to go back to my, I'm going to copy this working hours here, Ctrl C, copy, you know the whole process already, and then I'm going to paste it here. So copy and paste is what I'll be doing here again. So I'll change the color of this to this particular color, and also the fonts to this particular font. So I'm going to highlight all the text like that, and then I'll change the font to Chicago Police, and then the color also to this particular color here, and that should be fine. And then I'm just going to drag it here on top of this. If it is too big, just Ctrl T on your keyboard to retransform it to fit into this shape like this, and then enter my keyboard, and that should be fine. Now the next thing I'm going to do is also to, now I want to use the same font here and the same size, the font size. So I'll just Ctrl J to make a copy of this, and then I'll drag it to this place. Okay, and then I'll select all of it like this. Then I'll come here and copy the working days here like this. Ctrl C, you know the whole process already. Ctrl V to paste it here, and then I'm just going to position it here somewhere here in the center like that, and that should be fine. Now the next thing I'm going to do is to go back to my folder here. I'm going to drag this my location to Photoshop. Now it has a background, so bring it on top here, then you see copy under it, then you leave it to take it to a new page like this. We want to remove the background, so just come to your eraser tool here, then select the last one, magic eraser tool here, and then click on the white background and the inner white here to remove all the white, and then that is it. So drag the location icon back to the where you are doing your design, then you leave it here, then Ctrl T on the keyboard to transform it like this, to make it smaller like that. Okay, like this should be fine, and then enter on the keyboard. Now I'm just going to position it here. Now I want to give it a white color, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just right click the layer here, come to blending option, and then we are going to give it color overlay. So come to color overlay, and then that is it. I already selected white. If you can't find white, just double click, and then you see your color here, and then that is it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a copy of this text again here. So Ctrl J to copy, and then I'm going to drag it here, and then I'm going to select all, and then I'll come back to my text here, and I'm going to copy the location, and then I'm going to paste it here, and then that should be fine like this. So I'm just going to position the location here, and then again let me close this particular page here. Okay, so again I'll go back to my folder, and then I'm going to copy my call icon. I'm going to drag my call icon. I'll do the same thing. Alright, this one doesn't have a background, right? Alright, it doesn't have a background, sorry, so just leave it here like this. Okay, so you can just resize, just take your time and resize it as small as you want. And then you can drag it here like that. Let me resize it a bit. And then we want to give it white, so you know the whole process already. It should be on top here. So just right click, and then go to blending options, and then give it color overlay, white color overlay, then that should be fine. So I'm going to copy this text here, Ctrl J to copy, then I'm going to drag it here like this, and then I'm going to select all of it. Then I'll come back here, and then I'm going to copy my text, my number, and then Ctrl C to copy, and then come here, Ctrl V to paste. And then I want to change the typeface of this, so I'm going to select all, and then I'm going to use a normal, I think Arial, right? Arial I think is just a default font that I believe every laptop or every computer has it. And then that is it. So alright, so as you can see, we are done with this simple makeup flyer design. So this is how to design this simple flyer in Photoshop. Please subscribe to the channel if you are interested in videos like this, and our next tutorial is going to be the same design, but it will be designed with CorelDRAW. So if you are interested in CorelDRAW design as well, please subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our future uploads. God bless you for sticking around to the end of this tutorial. See you in our next tutorial. Sign out.
A great door is open unto you, but there are many